Hi, this is Chuck from Osprey, and today we're going to learn a little bit about the Ultragrids that are used in Osprey Point of Sale and OspreyHost. The Ultragrid is the method that we utilize to display data in most of our back office forms. Basically, it resembles almost a spreadsheet in nature and has a lot of similar functionality that a spreadsheet would as far as sorting and filtering and the like. So today what we're looking at is the item list in this sample database. We have quite a few fields displayed depending on the particular table that we're looking at and the section of Osprey that we're looking at. You may have a lot of fields such as this. You may just have a handful of fields. If we have a significant number of fields, there'll be a scroll bar at the bottom so we can scroll around and see the rest of our fields. Additionally, if we have more than a screen full of records, which for most tables we will, you'll have a scroll bar on the right side to scroll down through the records. Across the top we have our headers. As you can see, for item number, currently I've got an ascending sort, which is indicated by that faint little arrow pointing up. If I were to click on this again, it would invert my sort to be descending, and the arrow would change accordingly. The second option we have next to this drop down, would allow me to switch fields. So for example, if I wanted to exchange fields with description, I would choose description, and it's going to flip my item field for my description. As you can see, my item number field is now over here. If I wanted to put it back, I could do the same thing. That's a direct exchange one for one. What I can also do is I can drag these fields. So if I came over here and grabbed description, I could drag it over here and put it right between pack number and UPC number, and the grid will reorder. The last icon up here is a pin icon, and what that will do is it will pin a given column or columns. So for example, if I pin my item number, you'll see this little line indicating that. Now as I scroll over, that column will not scroll. So I can still always tell what item number that I'm looking at, despite the fact that normally that column will be off the screen. I can pin multiple columns. The one caveat to that is when I do, it will shift the columns all over to be together. So when I pin this description column, it's going to relocate it over here directly next to item number. So now when I scroll, I can see my item number and my description. One thing to keep in mind, if I unpin these columns, it will not automatically put them back as I had them. So if I want the description back to the right, I would go ahead and drag it over there myself, which is what I'm going to do, put it back like I found it. The next line to pay attention to is our filter line. What we have here is enhanced filtering. There are two options for filtering within Osprey: standard filtering and enhanced filtering. Osprey recommends the enhanced filtering as we find it much easier to use and much more powerful, but either one will work. For example, if I wanted to come over here and say only show me items that are in department 11, I could type in 11 and hit enter. It's going to filter down, and these are just the items that are in department 11. I have the visual indicator that a filter is active with the yellow column. Now if I wanted to change that filter to just items in department 1, I could type over that with 1 and hit enter. It will refilter down to just items in department 1. If I wanted to totally clear the filter, I can simply click over here to the right and clear the filter and get back to my original grid. Another thing to note is the orange highlight bar. That shows the current record that I'm working on. So right now I'm working up in the filter area, so that's highlighted. If I wanted to act on record 6, I would click on record 6, and now record 6 is highlighted. Where that becomes relevant is if I were to choose update, it's going to take me to the record highlighted here. So if I choose update, I'm editing record 6 since that's what I had highlighted. The same thing if I were to choose copy, I would copy record 6 since that's what's highlighted. Another option that I can do in here is when I'm scrolling over, if I decide that I want the last sold field drug over, I can drag it over as I was showing earlier. Let's drag it all the way over in between cost and price. It's still not far enough, I can't see it, so let's drag it a little further over and put it right after subdepartment number. Okay, so I've altered my grid. If I close this form down, it's going to warn me, hey, the column layout was changed. Would I like to save it? If I answer no, then the next time I come in here, I'll see the grid as I've always seen it. If, however, I answer yes, it will write that grid out And then when I come back into it on the same machine, because these are per machine settings, if I come back into it on the same machine, it's going to remember my changes. So as you can see, the last sold field is still there. Additionally, our grid interacts with our standard toolbars. So for example, if I click on next, it will start scrolling down through the records. If I hit previous, it will start scrolling back up through them, and so on. Additionally, I can always refresh my grid to get back to the default sort order with my records in there. One final feature I'd like to touch on with Ultragrids is what we call subscribed Ultragrids. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and open up my barcodes screen. As you can see, here are all the barcodes in my sample system, and it currently lists them all. However, the barcode grid subscribes to the item grid. So if I were to come over to the item grid and choose, for example, item 23, which I have to scroll down to do. Oops, scrolled a little too far. Okay, I've highlighted item 23. If I come back to my barcode grid, you'll note that it's automatically filtered down to only barcodes that are for item 23. If I came over here and chose item, let's scroll back up some, item 6, and I went into my barcode screen, it's only showing barcodes for item 6. Now if I close my item screen at this point, the barcode grid will see that it's been closed and will automatically refresh to show me all my barcodes again. That's how a subscribed Ultragrid works. Barcodes is an example, vendor product codes is another example where we use subscribed Ultragrids.